Hi. Okay, so here we are, day 8. Holy crap, day 8. I think every time I'm gonna come on and be like, oh my god, I made it through another day. Like, I did it again. So I wanted to come on now. I know I didn't really tell you what time I was going to come on in my stories, and that's because I had my client call this morning, which was a really good coaching session that I'm really happy for. And I am going to be I'm currently moving into a different place for a few days. And so for the rest of the day, I'll be cleaning the current place I'm staying at. So I wanted to hop on before the cleaning started, just to speak to you and to do this live of what I'm going to talk about. And so basically today's topic, because we've spoke a lot from the past few days about all sorts of topics, and I kind of in a way continuing this conversation just because I think it's so powerful and it's something I love talking about. So let's talk about evidence. So a lot of the times we look at past evidence and we look at things that happened in the past and we say, well, if it happened like that, then it's going to continue to happen like that. Or I've always been like this, I can't change. Or this is my weakness, it won't become my strength. We kind of stay stuck in that. And I wanted to share a story to show you how past evidence can shift to a different new evidence. How sometimes what was necessarily true 2 days ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago is not necessarily true today. And that is because we are always growing and evolving. We are always learning something new. Whether it is, consciously by doing the inner work, getting all the self-help books, or not so consciously, but in terms of getting a new job and learning everything, at that job and learning all those new tools. And so I wanted to share the story because I think it is important to show how things can shift. And so back when I was a kid, I'm going to say this, English isn't my first language. So when I was born, my family spoke Greek in the household. And then I went to daycare, and because I used to live in Quebec, in Montreal, daycare was primarily in French. And so that's where I learned French. And I only picked up English in around kindergarten, or when I was 4 or 5 years old, by listening to the other kids speaking English. And that's how I picked it up. English in the past was not my strength. I always had a tutor. I had a tutor because I didn't do well in school in English. I used to have teachers tell me that when I write in English, I think it in French. And then later on, as when I did French assignments, my French teachers told me I write like I think in English. So definitely don't got my languages down. But I've always struggled. I've always struggled in the past in English, writing essays, doing any of the schoolwork around the English language was not my strength in the past. And my grammar was wasn't good. Even sometimes now I still make a lot of grammar errors. It happens. And I used to have a lot of people correct me, which always used to trigger me because I was I know I'm not good in English. And I used to tell that narrative to myself that I was a horrible writer, that I was not good in English. And that was a narrative I told myself for a really long time. Even when I started my business as a life coach and I have to write these Instagram posts and share my story. And I used to, not always, but I used to really struggle with it. In the beginning, I didn't know what to write and how to make it nice, how to attract people's attention. And then people would give me guidelines, and then I would sit and force myself to write it into those specific guidelines. And it all came from a very forced energy, and also the narrative in my mind of saying, I'm not a good writer. And I kept telling myself that for a really long time. And only until I don't know when it stopped, but I definitely shifted. And I said, you know what? I don't want to live this narrative anymore. I don't want to have this belief anymore. Is writing one of my strengths? At one point, it wasn't. Can it become? Yeah. And fast forward to today, I wrote a book. I'm in the process of writing a second book. I write my Instagram posts, every single one of them. And I've gotten so much better. And I've gotten also many, many compliments on it. Because I shifted my story. I shifted my story on my writing. And so the evidence that I was hanging on to for so many years since I was a child, because my grades in English weren't good, because I had to hire a tutor, because I always struggled writing essays during the examination period. You got 2 hours to write this essay. Talk about pressure and forcing. And so I shifted that dialogue. And I'm sure there are many examples you can think of how there was one thing you were once upon a time not so good at, and now you're amazing at. And I just want to say that because I want to remind you that that does exist. And so all your thoughts and your beliefs and your narrative and your stories that you're telling yourself that you're not good enough, or that you're not good at this one thing, or that you're not good at this task, that can change if you desire for it to. Your thoughts and words matter. And so take a moment. Think of all the times of the past evidence that the things that you didn't think was possible, or the things that you didn't think you'll be able to do, and now you're doing it, or you have done them. And I want you to use that evidence to anchor in the new evidence you're going to create. The new evidence, because if you've done it before, you can do it again. If you shifted your thoughts and your beliefs about something you've done, about who you are, about what you've done, then you can do it again. And so even if it's shifting just a saying of relationships are hard, you can shift it to relationships are easy, because you've done other evidence. Yes, maybe some of those evidence are more concrete and you have an actual physical thing. But the power of your words and your thoughts aren't always something that's physical. It's not always something that's tangible. Sometimes it is intangible, and sometimes it is something that it's very difficult to get evidence from. And so that's how you shift your thoughts, is to focus on the times it did work. And when you focus on all those times that it did work, it can work again. So make a list. Make a list of all the times it worked. All the times you've shifted, all the times you've changed, all of the things that you've done that you sucked at and now that you're amazing at, all the things that you failed, everything that you failed, but then you went and you did it again and it worked, the things that you didn't believe you could do. For example, travel on your own, and then one day you actually did a trip and you traveled on your own. For the times where you didn't think you would move across the country and then you moved across the country. Or the times that you thought that you wouldn't be okay being single and on your own, and you are single and on your own. Or you went through a period that you were single and you're on your own. For the times that you've had a skill that you sucked at in the beginning, but then you became amazing at it. Or the hobby that you started, if you started drawing, and then when you first started drawing, you were drawing stick figures, and now you draw these amazing, beautiful human beings. The evidence is there. And if you've done all of that, if you've been able to shift all of that, then you can do it for everything else that's to come. Everything you desire to change in your life, you can do it. So if you desire for your relationships and your life to be easy, you can do that. If you desire to have more abundance and more financial freedom than you have right now, you can have that. If you desire to tap into love and compassion and kindness and live a life of fulfillment, you can have that. It is taking your words and your thoughts and shifting, because your words and your thoughts matter, and using the evidence where you have shifted to shift this time. So that is number 8 of 365. Hope you enjoyed this live. If it resonated, please like, comment, and share. I love you. And this is Julie, your life and spiritual coach, coming in for a little something, giving you something today. And yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye.